Gosh, as Reed Hastings was saying on the stage, this is the birth of a global television network. Now what?
Yeah, absolutely. Now it's just to see if the people in those 130 countries are willing to subscribe to Netflix.
Right. And
and we'll see. I mean, Netflix has been, has been pretty open about the fact that international expansion is the way to get there. Hastings says that he wants to have about 80% of subscribers outside of the United States long term. They've already been operating in about 60 countries, so it's not like this is their first foray outside of the United States. And what's really interesting is when you do this, when you go to every country with the notable exception of China, you can't tailor it. You can't have an Azerbaijani Netflix. You got to just kind of do it and see what happens.
Right. And how did they approach this, right? Because they did something a little bit different as they got to this launch, right?
Yeah, and earlier in their international expansion, they made a big deal about going into each market, kind of analyzing demand, making decisions about content lineups and things like that. And now they're just saying, we're just going to turn it on. We're going to treat everyone the same, and we're going to see, we're going to see what happens. We don't need to do the market research if we're just going to turn it on everywhere. The big challenge for them here is that media licensing has never been sold in this way generally. So.
How has it been sold before?
Country by country. I mean, when you're dealing with like a cable network, it generally operates in one country, and media rights holders would dole out their rights in different countries with different deals. Netflix has actually sort of run into trouble with this in the past. They don't even have access to House of Cards in some of their markets.
Okay.
And so they really wanted to strike global deals for all content at this point.
So does that mean they have to go back to some of their other content collaborators and renegotiate terms, or have they already done that then?
Yeah, no, this is not something that's done, and it's not something that's going to be done, by the end of this year.
That quickly?
Yeah, there's going to be pushback on this. Netflix obviously wants global deals. Other companies aren't going to necessarily want to give Netflix global rights. The one way it is dealing with this is by making its own shows. It can give itself global rights to things as long as it thinks about that in advance. And they're openly saying that that's a bigger part of their strategy now, to have more originals and they can have complete control.
So does this change, though, their costs on content? I mean, are they going to have to spend that much more because they're in that many more markets?
Well, if a media company is holding back international rights and Netflix wants them, presumably those deals would cost more, yeah.